Hello, hello. How are you? You can see me. This is happening. We are doing this. This is an unexpected live, and you were thinking, hey, you did two pastors on the porch. What are you doing live today? Well, we didn't do pastors on the porch today because we have been busy distributing some water that we were able to get to hand out through HEB, donated 3 pallets of water. And so we've been busy giving that out today. But we had wanted to take some time to talk about our Lent worship bags. And so we thought the easiest way to do that would be to do that in a live video. And so I'm just jumping on here so that you can see all the things that are in our Lent worship bag and kind of explain how best to use them to enhance your experience of Lent this year. But I'm doing all of this solo, and Stephen is my awesome tech guy. So is it working? Who knows? I don't know, but I'm doing the best I can. So hopefully this is all going to work just great. But I did want to go through these bags with y'all and kind of share kind of all of the fun stuff that we have got for you to use. Now, obviously, there's a few people who've already jumped on the live, and that's awesome. I'm so glad that you're here. But this video will also be available through our website and on our Facebook and YouTube channels. So if you didn't catch it live, that's great. It'll still be here for you to go back and look, which means you can also go back and reference this whenever you need to try to understand all of the different things we have for you in your take-home bags for Lent worship this year. So our Lent bags look like this. Ooh. Ooh. Is that really like that? That's helpful, isn't it? Makes it like a little seasick, which is part of our theme. Okay, not seasickness, but sea glass. So you'll find those kinds of things in here as well. Now, the things that are in our Lent bag kind of fall into a few different categories. And so I'm going to go through the things one at a time, basically. But the 4 categories are things that will help you worship at home, things that will enhance your prayer life, or things that are devotional, activities that everybody can do, and activities that are more specific towards our young ones. Right? So those are the kinds of things that you will find in the bag. So let's just dive in and start going through some of these things. All right. The first thing that you're going to find in your bag on top is communion cups, right? There should be 14 communion cups in your Lent bag. That is enough for 2 people for the 7 weeks of Lent, or if you've got more people but you picked up your bag late, you do the math. If you need more of these, you can always let us know at the church and we'll be happy to get you more. Or if you don't use them all and you want to bring them back to church, we'd be happy to take them back so that we're ready to use them in person on Sundays as well. So this is definitely a part. You can use this when you worship with us online on Sunday mornings. Also, as part of our worship, I'm just pulling all kinds of crazy stuff out here. You will find a baggie that looks like this. It even has a little marker on it that says we'll use these each week in worship, and it is filled with glass, specifically beach glass, sea glass, as well as a couple of strands of wire. We will be using these sea glass shards as part of our Together worship series throughout Lent, all the way up to Easter. And so we'll use these in different ways. If you watched our first Sunday in Lent worship online this past week, you'll see that we talked about sea glass, how it's formed and forged through sand becoming heated through fire, and then the water just really refining it. We talked about it quite a bit, and so we will talk about this and ask you to use it in different ways throughout Lent. So you've got several pieces in your bag, as well as the wire, which you'll also use. So if you're like, I don't know what this thing is about, well, you have to watch worship to find out what you're supposed to do with it each week, okay? So those are the 2 kind of main things that are very like worship specific. Communion and the sea glass. Those are going to come up specifically during worship services, right? Then the next kind of category we have is things that are prayers or devotionals for at home. So you've got a big stack of paper that looks like this in your bag. So if you open that up, you'll start to find lots of little devotional type things. We've got a prayer for a Lenten spirit. This is an easy kind of prayer card, something you can pray every day, something you can put on your fridge, use as a bookmark, put in your Bible, something just to help you focus and pray throughout this Lenten season. Really easy resource there. Then you've got a packet that looks like this. It's got 4 kind of quadrants on it, offering up our fasting and abstinence, offering up sharing your resources with others, prayer and worship, and keep your momentum strong is what it says. And these are different kind of listings, categories of things that you can do throughout Lent to help you. So these are specifically practices that anybody could do. And so it says week 1, for instance, on fasting and abstinence, consider the ways food is wasted or consumed carelessly. This week, make an effort to eat only until you feel satisfied rather than full. So we know that throughout Lent, having specific spiritual practices or disciplines can be a really helpful way for us to connect fully to the season and help us to really prepare to celebrate Good Friday and Easter more fully. And so these practices are things that can help. And there's a variety of them in this packet, all different kinds of ideas. You can be really stringent with yourself and do each and every one, or you can pick one that really speaks to you, something that really challenges you, something that really hits right where you are needing some work, somewhere you want to grow. But you can just peruse through that and figure out what works best for you and for your family. You'll also find in here a purple page. Maybe it kind of looks blue on here, doesn't it? It's supposed to be purple for Lent, right? The 2021 Lenten calendar. Every single day there is a prayer prompt. So today is the 24th, and it says pray for healthcare workers. So these are just a daily prayer prompt. Prayer is obviously an important part of preparing ourselves for Easter. It's an important part of our Lenten practice. So taking some time to pray every day, and these can be a really helpful, just a prompt. Sometimes it's hard to know what to pray. Do you ever have that issue? You're like, I want to pray and I want to pray for other people. I don't want to just have a laundry list of, hey, God, do this for me, or hey, just do this for my friends either, or my family, right? And so this kind of thing can help us kind of expand who we're praying for, what we're praying for, and even how we're praying. So there is that resource in there as well. Oh, so many pages. You'll also find this. You'll see that it's a part of our theme for Lent, and it's the Holy Vessels, a Lenten season of recovery. These are individual reflection pages. So these are very specific to what we'll be talking about in worship. So if you look at it, you'll see that week 1 is my health survey. We talked about physical health and healing and recovery of physical health in worship this past Sunday. And so that's kind of what this first section talks about, and it'll go through with us. So this goes right along with our worship series. So this is just sort of like extra stuff to really help you deep dive into things that we're talking about in worship on Sunday. And this will help you kind of practice, study more fully, study more deeply, and hopefully grow in a way. There's a lot of reflection in here, which I think is great. Lent is an amazing time for examine and reflection. So this will really help. And like I said, ties right back into what we're doing in worship on Sunday. So you can do it after worship Sunday, or work your way through it throughout the week, whatever works best for you. All right. So that's another part of our resources for prayer and devotion. I am making sure that I have gotten through all of these papers. You see, we've got quite a few papers in here. All right. So that's the prayers and devotions section of our Lent bag. So let's kind of jump to the next one. Some of the activities are kind of the things I already talked about, the prayers for each day. Also, you'll be directed in the reflection page. But our activities for everyone are a little different. I really, when we did the Advent bags, one of the things that I liked was that there were a lot of like hands-on kind of prompts, But there were things you had to go out and kind of come up with yourself to some extent, find the resources for it. So I'm really excited about one of the activities in the bag. Maybe I'm too excited, but it involves food. So one of the activities in their bag is making a Lenten pretzel. Did you know that pretzels come from Lent? There's a whole long story that you will find printed up in your bag about the history of the pretzel. The idea is that it was made in such a way as to be a part of a fasting diet. And it was also molded with the crossover shape to be representational of someone who is on their knees and with their arms crossed in prayer. And so the pretzel is supposed to be a way to help people to focus on prayer and to focus even on fasting in the season of Lent. And so we've got the history of the pretzel in here for you, as well as a pretzel recipe so that you can make pretzels at your house. And if that was not enough, you will also find in your bag 4 cups of flour and another little baggie with the rest of your dry ingredients, a baggie of yeast. Then there is sugar and salt, and they're already mixed together. So all you have to do is follow this recipe, which will involve mixing this and this. It also involves a couple of wet ingredients, so a cup and a half of warm water, as well as an egg. And I didn't put those in your bag because you do not need a raw egg in your Lent bag. That would be weird and potentially very messy. So you will need a couple of little extra things to help you make your pretzels, but we gave you all the dry ingredients so that you could be ready for that. And if you make the pretzels, I want to see pictures. I want to know how it tastes. It's important to remember that this is not about perfection, that this is about making an effort. This is about an activity that will help you connect a little bit more deeply. It's something fun. And I love the idea of taking our faith and making it not just something we think about or even just talk about, but something that we can hold and touch and taste and smell. And so I really am, I'm hopeful that you will take time as you're able to make these pretzels. You've got all the way till Easter. So pick a weekend that's, you've got time to do that and just kind of enjoy the process and don't worry if it's not perfect or whatever. Make the effort to try making pretzels. We're going to do it at our house, and when we do, we will make a video so you can see. So 50-50 on whether it'll work or not, but the point is to try. So that's kind of our main activity that's just really easy for everybody to try, and we've given you all the dry ingredients to make that. All right, so then let's dive into kind of our last category of stuff that's in the bag. Now, Lent is a very hard season for littles. And by that, I kind of mean everybody who's maybe like, let's say 10 and under, maybe even 12 and under, right? It's a hard season to understand and to explain because Christmas, Advent, it makes a little more sense. We're excited, we're preparing for Christmas. We sort of naturally get the understanding of the anticipation of Christmas Day, right? We can kind of sell that. But Lent, we're excited for the Easter bunny? That's not really the point of Easter, right? It's fun, but that's not really the point. And so how do we understand why we're doing this? Why do we give something up during Lent? How do we talk about service during Lent? How do we talk about what it is that we're even discussing, the hard stories that we talk about Lent, especially during Holy Week? How do we really go through these? So we've got quite a few resources for our youngest friends. The first one that you'll find is a little packet that looks like this, and it says Lent, so you'll know that's what it's for. We've got all kinds of things in here. Pages to color, to draw, because we know that our little friends like to do that. There's also prompts in here to help students think about, hey, what is it that I might want to give up? I'm doing air quotes, even though I can't use my fingers to do it right now. But it says, what will I pray for? How will I show kindness? How will I prepare for Easter? So really easy prompts. Those are actually prompts that anybody could do to really think through how you're going to intentionally focus on Lent. You'll also find in your bag a long piece of paper like this. so long. This is the kid kind of version of the everyday prayer prompt. This is 40 days to Lent. They can color each day. It also has an activity, a prayer, or some other kind of prompt to really help um, our younger ones to participate in this sort of daily countdown towards Easter. And they're totally different. Some say things like, pray for our world leaders, pray for peace in the world. And some of them say things like eat a healthy snack today, right? So it really focuses on lots of different ways that we can intentionally prepare ourselves for Easter and to just kind of dive in to Lent. You'll also find in your bag just a little booklet like this, but again, just has some little activities. Now, I've got plenty of extra of both of these resources. If you have got more kiddos in your home than just like one, right, and you need more copies, please let me know. I'd be happy to get these to you. I can email you this one, or I can drop these off, or you can pick these up if you need more, right? You'll also find in your bag a bag of plastic Easter eggs and these two pieces of paper. These Easter eggs are actually to be used as resurrection eggs. I don't know if this is something that you're familiar with or not. It's a little bit of a different kind of tradition. And the idea is that you will put different things in each egg. You'll see this page has different things. So it's palm tree, a card that symbolizes the 30 pieces of silver, bread and wine, the garden, all of the stories specifically of Holy Week. You put each of those pieces of paper, one in each egg, and then you go through the story of Holy Week, egg by egg. And there is even a script to go with it. So families, this is an easy activity for you that involves just a pair of scissors and sticking some stuff in some plastic eggs. I promise it'll be really easy, and I think it'll be a really good way to talk about Holy Week as a family. So those are the things that are in your bag. It is varied from things to bake to things to pray. I mean, it is all over the place. But the main thing is that each and every one of these resources is something that is to be used to help you to fully worship throughout the season of Lent. And that does not just mean on Sunday morning. That means each and every day. You know, the season of Lent is 40 days long, except that it's not. It's actually longer than that because we don't count the Sundays. It's the 40 days that aren't Sundays leading up to Lent, from Ash Wednesday to Easter. And so these 40 days that we're talking about of Lent don't include the Sunday morning worship experience that we're having together, whether it's in person or online. And there's a reason I think that could be something that we should celebrate and really understand, because worship isn't just something we do on Sunday morning. And that isn't because we don't watch it till Monday, right? It's because we are supposed to be worshiping in everything we say and do. We're supposed to be praying without ceasing. And these are things that we can do in the season of Lent to really help us to more deeply understand and grow in this knowledge of God's abiding grace and love and desire for us to heal and be made whole. And so I hope that this season of Lent, after a year that has just been, it's difficult in lots of different kinds of ways, I hope that you will really go through the things that we've provided in this resource bag, that you will dive deep into your scripture, that you will worship with us on Sunday morning in person or at home, and that you will really just dwell in the Spirit of God and allow the Holy Spirit to work in you and through you and among all of us, that we might see more clearly who it is that God is and what that means for who we are as the people of God. So that's kind of what's in our bag. No big deal, just a few things, right? So I hope I will see you in worship on Sunday. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. See you Sunday.